Hello everyone, and welcome back to Bluegrass Dreams and Seams. My name is Cheryl, and I have a couple of things to say just before we begin to explain some things that's happened in my life over the last, say, week. In my last video, a couple of people did mention that I am hard to understand. I have to get a new mic system. It's been ordered. I also, in the meantime, had to get a new phone. So that is what I'm using today. So you might notice a difference in clarity of the picture because the pixels are great. Much better than what my old phone had. The mic system should come in Saturday if there's no delays. I don't live in a big city, so I would expect a delay or two. Sometimes it's a day or two later. That's fine. It'll come. But with that said, I just wanted you to know I will speak as clearly as I can and a little closer to the camera without being, my head chopped off. So this is another plan video. And as you can see, I'm wearing my botanical green. I just love this print. So I'm just going to go over some plans, and you will see in this where I'm working on a muslin for the pants that I plan on making. I want to make elastic waist pants. I'm going to start there. I went to Hobby Lobby yesterday to see if I could find anything in the remnants. And I may have to just make a pair of shorts. But I have another plan for maybe coming up with a muslin where they could just be worn as pajama pants. Because they are elastic waist. And I don't have to put the pocket in the sample. I can leave the pocket out, or I can put the pocket in. But the pattern I want to use is this one. I used it last year to make that yellow top. This one has buttons and this one's got a zipper in the back. And I want to make long ones. And these do have pockets, elastic waist, and a slight flare at the bottom of the pant. It's kind of like that right there. So I think this will be a good one for me to use. And I just need to figure out, do I need to go by the 18 or the 20, or can I drop down to a 16 in areas? So I've measured the pattern tissue. I've written a bunch of numbers down. And I think now I'm to the point where I need to take a pair of pajama pants pattern, the last one I used, and lay it on top of this pattern and see where it's closest to. I measured crotch and all that stuff. According to crotch measurement, I need to steer to the 18. So that's probably what I'll do regardless. I don't like it too baggy in the crotch. I like it not too fitted, but somewhere kind of in between. It's comfortable for me. I want to be able to sit down and be comfortable. So that's the key. So the two fabrics that I can use to make pants right now, this kind of pant, is this white, which turns out to have just a slight bit of stretch on the cross grain. And I want to try to show you that if I can without unfolding it too much. Here's cross grain. You can see how that's stretching, and it doesn't really stretch that way. So I'm kind of glad that it does have a little bit of stretch, because that means around the waist, even though it's elastic waist, I've got a little bit of ease there. And also when I sit down, that will stretch and hopefully not pull out any stitching. But anyway, that's that one. It actually looks pretty good with this green. So I think I'll be able to wear these two together. And I know I can wear that pink floral top that I made last week that was in my reveal. I can wear that one with these white pants. So the other, I bought this last year at Hobby Lobby with the intent of making these pants, and I never got around to it. The summer just kind of evaporated on me. So I'm going to make these this year. So that's 2 pair of pants plus a muslin that I've got to get done before I do this. I want to try to test this before I go there. Then I would like to have for you made by the next video a shirt. For sure, I would love to get a shirt picked out for this linen. This is a European linen that I bought at Textile Fabrics back probably 2 or 3 trips ago. It was on their remnant rack, and I got a really good price on it. I think there's enough here for me to cut a long sleeve shirt. So that's what I'm going for. I just haven't picked out a long sleeve shirt yet, but I'm going to do that. So that's going to be kind of a surprise. These are other contenders for the possible shirt. This Liberty Lawn that I picked up. Also at Textile Fabrics on the remnant rack. There's 2 yards here, so it had to be short sleeves. But this would look great with a white pant. It would look great with the blue. So either one. So there's another top to wear with those. The other item that's a possibility, but would be more time consuming, so I might not get it finished, would be to take this lawn, which I bought also at Textile Fabrics, off the boat. I bought what was left, 2.5 yards. I could make a blouse out of this. Now this one doesn't have enough yardage to make this either. But there is a top that I used last year that I think I probably could make that top out of this, although now that I'm thinking about it, it's got a pretty deep sleeve or big sleeve. But I'll look and see what I can find, because this would be great to use with some of my antique embroidered lace, like my Swiss laces would be beautiful with this, and I could use some of that on here. And again, that would be a pretty summer blouse with the white pants. So see, I'm trying to put things together where I have choices with pair of pants. This is what happens to me. I think I'm so set on what I'm going to do, and then I get to thinking about it and I realize I'm about to make a mistake. Do you do that? I do it all the time. So I did make a sample of the pattern that I showed you that I was going to make the elastic waist pants by, because that pattern is really designed for like lightweight linens, rayons, those types of fabrics. And I thought, you know, I really would like to have some pants like that, especially linen. And I have tons of white linen, cream colored linen. I've got some other colors of linen, but I'm not sure if I have enough to make pants. So I thought, you know, go ahead and do the sample. So I got in my closet, I was digging through my cottons, thinking, what would I sacrifice to make a sample pants? And lo and behold, I didn't have a yardage big enough. I was like a half a yard short of having enough to cut these pants. And I'm like, this is crazy. I really thought I had something in there, but I did not have anything. So I ended up going to Hobby Lobby and purchasing this white with blue print to make my sample. What I did is I cut it by an 18 through the crotch, because that gave me just a little bit of room, and it does seem like it's going to be perfect. And I went with a 20 everywhere else. If I do make this again, make another sample before I cut out my linen pants, I'm going to cut a straight 18 and see how I feel about that first. Another thing I did is a friend of mine had sent around where you can buy a ribbon and you can use it as a label. And this is perfect for that, because this is how the ribbon is sold. This is ready for elastic. Yes, I did put the pockets in it the first time, but I made a mistake, and I was really in a hurry to get things kind of to a certain point because we had to watch my grandson this afternoon. So I just cut that seam right off. It was the quickest way to get rid of it because I already serged it. And I said, you know what, forget the pockets. I don't even care at this point. I'm going to run my elastic tonight. I'm going to hem these, and these will be ready to go. I'm pretty sure they're going to be a little fuller than what I would like, but that's what I need to know. As far as pajamas, that's okay. I'll be fine with that. Now, the other thing I want to say is, because I got a little fearful about this pattern with the poplin and this heavier stretch cotton, I've decided to choose different patterns for both of those. Matter of fact, I've already cut the blue out. Now, I cut it out kind of big because the only number I had to go by was the hip measurement. I don't know why they didn't have a finished waist measurement, but they didn't. So the hip measurement was 2 inches, either more or less than what my actual measurement is. And I thought, you know, just go with the biggest size. I'm sure it'll be fine. So I went with that. The pants may end up being too big. They may be okay. I paid $6 for the fabric last year. I'm not worried about it. If they don't fit, I'll put a size in them and I'll donate them. Somebody will get a brand new pair of pants. It's okay. But I love the pattern. It's really got a lot of detail. There's a lot of top stitching. There's a lot of pieces to it. It's very much my style. There's a dart at the knee. There's 2 darts taken at the cuff. The white pants is a totally different pattern that I picked out. It's a Vogue pattern. And the one for the blue one is a Simplicity pattern. Both of them have a lot of detail in the pants. And I can cut sizes that I felt like I could use. So once I make this pair, I'll know more about how I should cut the Vogue pattern. And I think I can go off of that without much trouble. So I just wanted to put that in here, that's what's been happening in this sewing room. So that is it. That is where I am with my sewing plans. And I hope you'll join me next week when we reveal how much am I going to get done. Hopefully I'll have 2 pair of pants and maybe 2 tops. But the goal is 2 pair of pants and 1 shirt. So we'll see. Thanks for joining me. Happy sewing, everyone.